classify this as a war game or not at all. Now, I've noticed that on the internet, whenever we criticize a game, people go, oh, they didn't like it. As if the only two states a review can be are, it's perfect, it's perfect, or, it's not true. We're just looking out for you guys, trying to provide a completely rounded view from every angle of this thing before you part with your precious cash.
Oh my gosh, he's right. He's right. I've been doing it wrong this whole time. So, just in case anyone is interested in my final thoughts for Colonial Twilight. So, first of all, let's cover 3 things here. 2 I've touched on before. The first one is that I don't really do reviews. And this is because I would feel obligated to do it right. And to do it right means outlining, writing a first draft, reviewing the review, making a second draft, all the while making sure my conclusions follow from the premises. In short, it means writing an essay, and if I wanted to write an essay, I'd go back to school. Well, I was going to put in a clip of Top Secret, but I'll just spare you the details. Basically, the kid is being tortured by Nazis, and I guess he passes out, and he has a dream, and he's back in school, and he hasn't studied all semester, and it's exam time. And he wakes up from this, and he's still being tortured by the Nazis. He says, oh, thank goodness, it's just a dream. And while we're on this discussion, can someone tell me what happened to Zucker Abrams style comedy? Because I tried watching Meet the Spartans, and I had to stop after 5 minutes because it was just so stupid. What happened? Did I just get old, or is it just really bad? What happened between the time? Anyway, where was I? Okay, I don't want to write essays. I just want to play games. So what I do is I just try to relate my experience of the game and try to come up with something meaningful to say while not going off on too many Zucker Abrams tangents. The second thing is when I do thoughts, I just do thoughts rather than final thoughts. And this is where I think I'm better than other content creators. And other content creators, they have this slurry of board games coming into their house all the time. And so when they say this is their final thoughts, it means they did the playthrough, they give you their final thoughts, and poof, you're never, ever going to see them again. So I like to think that I play my games more than once. You may see them again, and you'll just get a full rounded of it. And I like to tell you that this makes me better than them. But the fact of the matter is I'm just jealous that they get all these games, and I don't. So that's how it. Now, because, what would happen if a sponsor came up and dumped a truckload of money on me and said, here, have some games, and I don't know what would happen. Okay. I'm not too worried about it right now. And 3. Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. I just said final thoughts when I started this, didn't I? Did I just get old and forget? No. This is final thoughts because I stopped playing Colonial Twilight right in the middle of the game. And I'm unlikely to play it or any other coin game again. How dare you? I know how you feel. Yes, I stopped. And I really dislike starting something and not finishing it. But I just couldn't get grounded in this game. And I couldn't in good conscience just force myself to phone it in. And just to say I finished the game. How's that for final thoughts? So that must mean I think it's a bad game. And a bad system, right? No. Like the intro, there's more with the sit up and shut up and sit down review. There's more to it, even though, I don't do reviews. I do think I should try to put my finger on why this game and coin in general just isn't connecting with me anymore. So I need to back up a little. So harp backflash, little montage there. So it was around, I think, 2013 or 14 when I kind of lost my zest for video games, which seemed to me at that time become stale, exploitative, and an industry that was becoming corrupt. And apparently I wasn't the only one. Anyway, I reconnected kind of with my old hobby board game hobby after a long hiatus. And when you come back to a hobby and there's been a whole bunch of changes, I just became kind of fully enamored, just intoxicated with all the new developments. And when I saw Fire in the Lake announced as a pre-release, and I saw pictures of it, a gorgeous map of Vietnam, great components, and I was hooked. I couldn't wait. I even bought Andean Abyss so that I could learn the system beforehand. And wow, I really loved Andean Abyss too. Um, and I really like, and clearly I like these games. Andean Abyss, Fire in the Lake. I played, I'd say, 20 rounds, 20 at least playthroughs of both of those. So I was clearly loving it. But the more I played them, and like I said, 20 or more plays with each one of them. I mean, it just started the luster started to wear off. So clearly, I enjoyed them at one point, and there's a lot to like about them. Complex, even though they're complex, the sequence of play flows very nicely once you get it down. And despite the asymmetry, the games are really balanced. So let's see if I can pin down why it eventually just started wearing on me. This might be a little tricky. Starting with, I think I'm going to start with kind of the abstraction part of it, which it does tend to wear on me. Where, hey, I put my cubes here. Hey, because of that, I do my operation. I take your cylinders off. And that tends to be kind of the gameplay. It's just moving cubes around, area control. And I'm not going to dish on Euros or anything like that. And there's nothing wrong with that technically. I mean, I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, let's take let's take one game here, and one I like to call Cubes of Water Cube. Now, I've heard a story, and I don't know if it's true or not, don't quote me, that when Lords of Waterdeep was first being designed, it wasn't Lords of Waterdeep, it wasn't even Dungeons and Dragons. What it was something like rival bakeries. And you were running a bakery, and like the cubes were ingredients, so like a purple cube would be berries or something like that. So that meant the quest cards were actually like pastry orders or recipes or something like that. And why not? And you'll hear this cry among board gamers, or complaints among board gamers, that a certain game, the theme feels pasted on. Like it's just a bunch of mechanics and the theme is just kind of there. Now, I don't want to make that assertion with Coin. I mean, clearly a lot of thought of the history goes into these. So it's probably not fair. But it's hard after playing, there's 14 of these suckers now. And after playing several of them, which I have, I mean, it's almost like you get this sense that, okay, I'll just grab a historical setting that is there, wrangle 4 factions out of it, turn every historical event in that setting and into a card, and boom, I got another coin game. And I see they're stretching out. See, the nice thing about Andean Abyss was that it highlighted a conflict that almost no one would ever give it a treatment in a game. And so that's what was really bringing it in. Now we got the American Revolution. I suppose at some point we'll see the Civil War. I don't know. Again, how are you going to unless you're going to do like this game here and do the 2-faction thing or something like that. I fully expect that to get a coin treatment. Now, all right, so now hold on. You say, okay, what's wrong with abstraction? What's wrong with cubes? And the answer is absolutely nothing. And as a counter, I mean, one of my favorite games still is, and I'm actually itching to pull that out again and play, is Pericles. It's got loaded with abstraction and cubes and things like that. And I even ordered the game before that, the Churchill. I'm eagerly waiting for that to come in. I think I'm going to present that later. Another one I love is Atlantic Chase, which the board isn't even a representation of the battlefield. It's a representation of a map of the battlefield. I mean, it doesn't get more abstract than that. So obviously, it's not just abstraction in and of itself. Now, I once compared coin to like chess with bookkeeping. And when I did that, I got actually'd by someone with a cavilling laundry list of how it's not like chess. But that was all I was going for when I made the comparison, was just the level of, okay, my pawn goes here, and that's all happened. There's no sense of the battle or anything here. And the way I might illustrate this is, here's a little scene from the movie Intimate Enemies.
Le reste de la Kativa est dispersé, là-haut. Mais ils étaient là avant nous. Quelqu'un leur a filé l'info. Dites à gros cul de se bouger.
Ici Rocher. On est bloqué. Faut que vous preniez l'effet larvaire sur 1835. Je répète, sur 1835.
Ne bougez pas. Je répète, ne bougez pas. Accueil aérien, moins 2 minutes. Vous recevez Rocher.
Reçu. Allez, foulard. Foulard, tout le monde, foulard. Foulard le prend.
So, just like I think very few people playing chess ever gets the sense of when they capture something with a knight that it evokes somebody galloping on horseback with a lance. And the same thing here. Whenever there's combat in here, you just never really get the sense that napalm is being dropped on these guys or anything like that. And strangely enough, like something like Pericles, I do get that. I get that sense, even though it's about the same level of abstraction. So it's really hard for me to put a finger on this. And I'm not the only one. I've heard Coin called, and you can quote me, war game without war. And other people have called it bloodless. And I feel like I'm really dumping on this game. And I don't mean to. And another comparison is like Coin is like a game of musical chairs where there's 4 guys just kind of pointlessly circling a chair. And the final propaganda card comes out, and boom, whoever happens to be just closest to the seat there, and when the record stops, and that's the game. But like I said, I keep coming back to this. I really enjoyed these when I first encountered them. So I don't want to tell people not to get into Coin or it sucks or anything like that, because it doesn't. The best way I can say it is that it's a good game. It's a good system. It's just not an evergreen system. It's a system that once you kind of explore everything and you kind of get the whole gist of counterinsurgency and attacking resources and attacking units and things like that, you've kind of learned the lessons from them, and then it's kind of time to move on. Okay, I need to I'm inserting a little point here after an edit when I just realized that, because I can already hear one objection is, but you're just playing it solo, right? What about multiplayer? Nope, I've played this multiplayer. I have. I played Falling Sky. Twice or 3 times. I can't remember. 3 times. And I like it. I guess I like it a little better than solo, but I still run into that same problem. So it's really not the fact that I'm doing solo versus multiplayer. So no, I don't accept that as an objection. So that's my thought. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I have trouble pinning my feet logically where I have the disconnect with this, but I'd like to hear from other people. But anyway, that's my final thoughts on Colonial Twilight, so thank you for watching.